I want to call the regular meeting of the Port of Centralia for January 21st to order. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance for the ride. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Did that work? Sorry, no, good. Introduction.
Commissioner Kyle Markstrom.
Commissioner Peter Lamont.
Graver, report staff.
Ray, why don't you introduce yourself so people know?
Sure. Ray Liao.
Thank you. Would entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda of January 21st.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. 3-0. I agree. Good of the order, public comment. This is the time during the Port Commission meeting for public comment. Public comment is for non-agenda items. There will be a time during the meeting to comment on agenda items. The Port Commission welcomes and encourages your comments and participation. However, public comment is not a time for the commission to answer questions. If you have questions and would like follow-up at a later time, please leave us your contact information. For those attending remotely who are unable to attend, please submit your written comments to agraber@portofcentralia.com before 2 p.m. on the day of the meeting. You'll have 3 minutes to comment. When you reach your time limit, we will ask you to wrap up. Please stand at the podium to give your comment. Please state your name and your area of residence. And if you have a specific records request, please see port staff so that we can get you the information you require. And we do have some people signed up. Gary Odegaard.
My name is Gary Odegaard, resident of Centralia since 1962. I moved here. So now you know about how old I am. Anyway, the last meeting, we had first welcomed a new commissioner, and I didn't think she was treated very well by you, Commissioner Markstrom. And she spoke to a article in Chronicle and said the Chronicles are delayed a little bit because of the post office. I hadn't read that. So then I went back when I got my paper. I read about the Transall received state order to begin environmental cleanup. And I find that's not just nonsense, because you said that's a bunch of nonsense. I could see that's a serious matter, because it affects contamination, air, soil, groundwater, sediment. Involves coal ash that has metals such as mercury and arsenic. Burning coal, the boiler made smoke, which could have toxic chemicals in it. I think we want that for our families, ourselves, our kids and grandkids. So I just wished your comments wouldn't have been that way. There'll be a meeting about it, the Centralia Temple Library tomorrow, from 3:30 to 5:30, a hearing to discuss the cleanup process. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for your comment. Next we have Paul Crowner signed in.
Paul Crowner, Centralia. Commissioners and staff and counselor. At the last Port of Centralia meeting, January 7th, there was some discussion that involve the current moratorium and ongoing negotiations and or litigation and talks between the city of Centralia, the port of Centralia, and Lewis County that affect large warehouses. In the light of today's news reports and the current condition of politics in our country, both national, state, as well as local governments, I would respectfully request that the Port of Centralia place on the next meeting agenda a resolution that would specifically discourage, preempt, and or prohibit the use of any existing warehouses or plans to build a large warehouse that would be used by the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, otherwise known as ICE. It would be prudent and well advised to plan for any contingencies that come to pass in the future for the Port of Centralia. In closing, I ask for your consideration, and as our President Trump has often said lately, thank you for your attention to this matter. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And I do have copies, Amy, for you and Councilor and Commission.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your input. Cynthia Mudge, please.
Cynthia Munch, with the chamber and live in Chehalis. So the main piece today, I'm not going to go over all the activities we're doing, but I do want to make a reminder. Tomorrow morning is the District 20 legislative update that we get. It's at 7:30 in the morning. I will hand these out because it has my email address on it. If you haven't gotten the link, like to join us. It should be interesting. Lots going on with our legislative sessions, even though it's a short one. And the only other piece I wanted to mention, there is a ribbon cutting at Centralia outlets, and what's significant is that DXL Menswear, and I believe it's the only one in the state, is expanding, and we always love to see businesses expand and grow. And so just wanted to point that out and congratulate Centralia outlets. It's been hard for months.
What is the location of your legislative out?
It's
Update.
Zoom,
Oh, it's Zoom.
so you have to attend by a
Fine.
link, and I'm happy to provide that to whoever wants it.
Is there anyone else in the room that would like to address that didn't sign in or check?
I should be on there.
Well, you're on, but you didn't check that you wanted to talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do want to.
Mr. Dow.
Thank you.
Sure.
Brian Dowse, Centralia resident. Speaking of Zoom, maybe we can get back to discussing the port meetings be done with the Zoom process. So folks at home can maybe have input and listen in and see what's going on and be better informed. And one other thing that's the main thing, the Zoom. Hopefully the new president will entertain comments as the meetings go on, or think about doing that as topics come up where the public has a question about what you're discussing, that we could open it up for a brief comment or question down the road. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, let's move on. Approval of the minutes. Entertain a motion for approval of the January 7th minute.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Approval of warrants. I would entertain a motion for the approval of warrants 24,760 through 24,778 in the amount of $71,486.64.
Move to approve warrants?
Something?
Been moved in second. Is there any discussion?
I noticed there's a reimbursement to a commissioner on here. I just wanted to clarify, do we have a policy in place for reimbursement of commissioners for expenses?
We have it addressed in part in the code of
The
ethics
code of
refers to surcharges to Visa, but not necessarily expense reimbursement from commissioner.
I'd just ask that staff maybe prepare a recommendation for us to consider on commissioner reimbursements going forward. I think we should have a process in place. You know, I don't think I should be able to order a statue and put it in the front lawn and have the commission reimburse me for it. So not saying that would happen, but I think we just, if we're gonna have commissioner reimbursements, we haven't had that really in the past. And so just think we should have some guardrails around that.
Just so the public's aware, this is a reimbursement to me for the purchase of the flag for the flag salute.
That might be something we look at under our policies.
Just,
I mean, there are
subject to purchasing laws, right? There's certain laws around purchasing that, you know, commissioners may or may not be aware of. And so just
Sure.
would hate for somebody to incur an expense that wouldn't be reimbursable.
Yeah.
So I think we should just think about that.
No, thank you. Any further discussion? All right, entertain a motion to approve Warren.
We've got a motion.
Did we move a second? Okay, we're in discussion. Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. All right. Old business, City of Centralia SEPA appeal. And I think this is the one that we tabled last time.
Yes.
So we have an open motion on the floor.
I would like to.
Would-
And I would like to propose a new motion of tabling until after executive session. Moving this to after executive session.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion to withdraw. Or rescind, I guess, that's what it should be. Motion to rescind the previous motion. Let's vote on that first, and then we would go to what your new motion is. Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor to rescind the authorizing, let's see, this is about this and try a SEPA appeal. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And aye. So it's 3-0 to rescind. Now, you have another motion.
Yeah, motion to move this agenda item till after executive session.
Second.
Okay. Okay, there's been a motion to move agenda item 6, the SEPA appeal, to after executive session. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. So 3-0 to move us till after executive session. All right, now we're under new business. New business, behind tab 1A, resolution 2026-03, authorizing the executive director to execute certain real estate documents. Amy, do you have a?
Oh, I will let Ray Leo take the lead on this resolution.
Sure. So there is a delegation of authority resolution that's already in existence that grants from the commission to the executive director certain powers or contract authority in a number of categories. That's where it goes. That existing delegation of authority does not extend to real estate purchase and sale agreements, which is not unusual per se in the sense that most of the certainly initial real estate purchase and sale agreements will typically come to you with narrow exception, even under state law. What we were realizing is there may have been a little bit of confusion historically with respect to amendments or changes to existing purchase and sale agreements, particularly with regards to those that aren't changing the area of land that's being purchased, or at least not significantly modifying it, because a lot of your purchase and sale agreements already anticipate that there may be some fluctuation in terms of the total area of land. But and again, general area of land and the purchase price, key terms that really concern what you're selling and what you're selling, the price that you're selling it for. But it is very routine in a lot of the transactions, for your larger parcels, that there are a number of amendments that occur along the way. These are sometimes housekeeping amendments to clarify terms that weren't, that the parties just feel that need to be documented. A lot of extensions, a lot of the current purchase and sale agreements that you have, I anticipate that there will be a need to change dates and move things out as contingencies arise in the transactions. And some of your more larger deals like LPC, for example, because that involves such a large area of members. I think the parties always anticipated that there may be a number of events along the way to clarify issues that come up in due diligence or things that change with regards to the deal. So this is a fairly typical process in most commercial real estate deals. The challenge that can arise is that sometimes these are needed on very short notice because of timing issues and best of intentions trying to get it in front of the commissioners. We can't always get that in time with respect to what's needed in terms of the deal terms without calling a special meeting or whatnot. So given you'll see today, we've had two purchase and sale agreements that we needed to come back to effectively after the fact to get your authorization on. We thought it might be prudent to have the commission, if you agree with this approach, to give the executive director the ability to amend purchase and sale agreements with limitations. So again, no changes to the purchase price or the area of land within a margin of 10%, because there are more deals than I can explain, that my partner deals with these mostly, but they're very complicated transactions. And so there is a little bit of wiggle room already built in and anticipated. So it's not too much of a surprise. We're going to see that little bit of flexibility. But again, as long as it's within that 10%, it would give the executive director the authority to amend those purchase and sale agreements, just for those agreements that are listed here. So it would be limited to those deals that we're talking about. So it'd be the LPC purchase and sale agreement, purchase and sale agreements with NW1, W1, Full Valley, Great Northwest Federal Credit Union, and local partners.
So is there any way that you can state more succinctly what it is? I mean, we're allowing the executive director to sign. Okay, I get that part. And you said it wasn't price, it wasn't area. So I know in a couple of these deals, they need an extension because of dealings with the city or the county or whatever, which seems perfectly reasonable to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know, however the motion's worded, I don't want to just give blanket authority. You know, if it's a limited scope, if there's some way that we can state the motion, so it's a limited scope of what they can approve.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is what we have presented. And so if there's more limitations that you want to do, so this would allow, as presented at least, would allow the executive director to execute amendments for each of these purchase and sale agreements, but would not allow the executive director to execute an amendment if it involves a modification of the purchase price by more than 10%, or modify the area of land by more than 10%. So anything that exceeds that threshold in terms of price or land comes back to the commission.
Okay.
But if it's less than that, or if it's for other reasons that again don't modify the terms within beyond that 10% margin, she would be just executing those to effectively keep the transaction alive effectively.
And really what brought this about, commissioners, was in regards to the Second Amendment with Wilco, we were down to a deadline. By the time everyone reviewed their drafts and got their final cuts, we're going to send it out for DocuSign. I'm like, well, I don't have authority to DocuSign. And that is normally how this is, you know, what I'm seeing is occurring is it's down to the wire where we finally get the document to sign. And so I did sign the Second Amendment with Wilco so that, you know, we were in compliance, but we're ratifying it with the next agenda item. That's what brought this resolution about.
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2026-03, a resolution of the Commission of the Port of Centralia, Lewis County, Washington, authorizing the executive director to execute certain real estate documents.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for resolution 2026-03 to allow A resolution of the commission, Port of Centralia, Lewis County, Washington, authorizing the executive director to execute certain real estate documents. Do you have any discussion?
I do. I'd like to consider removing LPC Acquisition Company from this list. I feel like, given the nature of that deal and the scrutiny of the public, the issues we have with the city, it might be prudent to keep that at a commission level. Not that I don't trust Amy, but to protect her from being the sole decision maker, that particular property.
This, if my homework's right, I've been fire hosing it lately. The deal with LPC, there's some issues with the city, some issues with the county. And that stuff is being worked through. We had a meeting with the city last Friday. And we talked about some of the hurdles that are going, and I've talked with LPC a couple times. They're working at it, the city's working at it. I have not talked with the county yet. Oh, I did. Talked with somebody from engineering at the county yesterday. But I'm confident with what we have written here that this is a reasonable way to go. So
I just, with the nature of how we have extensions of a feasibility study multiple times, and that is, there's a lot of doors in this contract for LCP to walk out of, and I hate for that to fall on Amy's head. So the protection of staff is the reason why I consider it.
I appreciate legal counsel and staff thinking this through and presenting us something to keep our clients and our deals moving forward in a expeditious fashion. I'm confident with what we have before us.
that's Ray, I might need some attention here. I would like to open this to public comment. Should I have done that before we had a discussion?
You can do that at any point.
I would like to open this to public comment. If anyone in the room has anything to say about this agreement, I'd like to hear from you. And if you don't get it today, beat on me later. Yeah, yes, please, Mr. Darling.
Longer to walk over there. My name's Randy Garland, 70-year resident of Centralia. In a previous situation, executive director had the ability to change the setback on a piece of property with the developer. My question is, does this agreement give Amy that ability? We had concerned citizens here at previous meetings, and the setback next to their property was changed without approval of the commission. So that's my question.
Yeah.
Is this included in this motion? This kind of decision making?
Yeah, this is.
Or is this buy sell only, not dealing with the developer?
Yeah, this is, really, we're not in a position to discuss this. I mean, that question would have to be submitted. Okay, to the front office, and then we can deal with that.
Okay.
But. Anybody else? Yes, please. Get out of it.
I just want to say that I agree with Commissioner Carr on this, on keeping LPC out of it for the protection of Amy. I think it should be good, something that the commission deals with because of all the contention issues with the citizens. I think it would be better if the commission took care of LPC.
Any further comments, discussion? Anything else, you guys?
So I will ask Renee then, it does allow for the area of the property to be changed that doesn't include boundary line adjustments. Or what Randy was speaking to, is that?
Let me start with boundary line adjustments. There are active boundary line adjustments going on with a number of these. So What this would do is that in each of the purchase and sale agreement, they describe a general area of land and an amount of land that will be purchased. In most of these, especially for perk 3, the exact precise boundaries are not known at this time, and that's kind of the expectation. We're actively working for multiple boundary line adjustments. So actually, under your general delegation of authority, the port staff already, executive director already has the ability to execute boundary line agreements. So that's one she already has. So this doesn't really speak to that. This would only allow her to say, okay, the original agreement was for you to purchase 4,000 square feet. You want to now purchase 4,500 square feet. That exceeds 10%. That needs to go back to the commission, or obviously the other way around. In terms of setbacks, those are design standards, and unless there's a specific, all of the purchases agreements are subject to the port master plan, and that's where the port's development standards are addressed. This motion does not impact.
Thank
Or
you.
this resolution.
I will say, to the commissioner's question, really a couple of these, what they're talking about, it's dealing with regulations with the city and the county and us, and trying to get everybody on the same page so that they can move ahead. So some of these, like the LPC, maybe they wanted to be done with what our agreement was today, but because of some changes, now they have to extend it to a certain time in the future.
Yeah.
So they can accomplish, what needs to be accomplished. And there's some serious questions right now about Harrison Avenue and how we're gonna, extend the sewer line and what we're gonna do for traffic and keep people safe when they're going through the site. And they're trying to work through that right now with their engineering department. So.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, which is
Okay.
why I feel like, it's still, they're being worked through, things are happening. Worst case scenarios, we have to call a special meeting for, I think when I reviewed the contract, the shortest term that we would have to get back to them is 10 days for a boundary line adjustment, which she already has the authority to do.
Yeah, right now, I don't know about LPC. The boundary line adjustment things are mostly with Port Park 3
Yeah,
and dealing with the city and utilities easements and things like that, which the city is working on it and we're working on it.
in my review, the shortest time frame for turnaround is a BLA, and it's 10 days, and she already has that authority.
Okay.
So I don't think we're losing much by, I don't think we're risking much by having this be a commission discussion or a commission item rather than.
Else,
Nope, nothing else for me.
anything else?
No.
I'll call the question then on resolution 2026-03. All in favor, say aye.
Wait, are we moving to approve this or am
There
I?
was already a motion in the second to approve the resolution as presented.
Yeah. Correct. The motion on the floor to approve. That was seconded, so now we're voting on that question. I have an aye, 2. Are you
Nay.
opposed? So 2-1, motion carries. Resolution 2026-03. Next, under tab 2. Second amendment to the real estate purchase and sale agreement for Wilco Farm.
So as discussed in the previous agenda item, this is to extend time for Wilco, allow them more time to get some agreements that we need to get settled with them. This was presented to me on the 14th. I did sign the amendment to stay in compliance with the contract, and we're here to ratify.
Move to approve second amendment to purchase and sale agreement with local farmers.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this? Once again, I will say from my discussion with the city, this is necessary because of some issues, utilities issues, and we have to put a cul-de-sac on Long Road, and we have to have engineering done on that. So we're we're in the process, so it's an extension. So, any further discussion?
So thank you to Amy for doing the research and figuring this out, as well as really getting support on how to proceed with this and making the right judgment calls. Keep us going.
Anything else?
Looking forward to having a Wilco store in Centralia.
All right, all in favor of the second amendment to the real estate purchase and sale agreement for Wilco Farmers? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Now we are at, tab 3, lease agreement for Feral Gas.
Feral Gas has been a tenant of the port since 2007. They're down at 3810 Galvin Road. They've been a good tenant. Their lease that we had with them expired in September, and I negotiated with them on this new agreement for a 5-year term with 2 options to renew for additional 5-year terms each. I'd recommend your approval.
Make a motion to approve lease agreement with Feral Gas for the building at 3110 Galvin Road.
Second,
It's been moved and second to approve the commercial lease agreement with Feral Gas. Is there any further discussion?
good job on this, Amy. I know it was a long time coming. I like the terms of 6-year or 6% increases annually. That's good terms.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice work. Anything else? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, 3-0. Executive Director search.
Commissioner Lamont had provided some information he received for the Washington Public Courts Association on some executive director position openings through other courts. I also went and was able to print some for your review. Staff put together this executive director form in the front that maybe you guys can complete after you review all of this other information and provide back to me within the next week or two, and we can put together a draft position notice for your review.
I get that. I mean, yeah, what our intent is that we look through this, see if we agree, and we'll talk about how we're gonna move forward. You know, how we want to advertise the position, where we want to advertise, that kind of thing. So,
What's important in the position too.
I mean, there may be something that's very important to you that's not on this document.
Yeah.
Would like to know that and then have a discussion about it and see, you know, how we can incorporate it.
So we're not discussing it today.
Yeah, it's on it. We could discuss if you want to, or if you want to wait a couple weeks,
Prepared to start now. We've
Well,
already had,
please.
I've already had candidates reaching out to me individually, and I'd rather have some track and motion so then we can deflect those sort of, kind of get the ball rolling a little bit. I did some research on what other local, managers of, government municipalities make. So, you know, working with the, executive director salary range. Which I can present if you're interested.
That part of our packet or is that
No,
something you
it's not
brought?
something that. So, yeah, my reasoning for that is that, it's kind of twofold. This job position is specific, very specific to ports, right? Which we all had the comparison from WPPA about what the port executive director salary is. But within our local community, our constituents are going to on what the county manager makes, what the city of Chehalis manager makes, you know, those sort of different local entities. So I pulled some of those as well. Along with that, I took how many employees they manage as well. I feel like that could be an important consideration, is how much staff they have to oversee.
If you would, please furnish that to Amy if you haven't, and send it out to us so we can all look at it. And I would say that we should be studying this up and coming back at the next meeting to have a serious move forward discussion.
So in the interim, can we set some sort of a idea of where should people go if they want to know more about this job position? Can we have them, you know, do we have a timeline for when we're gonna have this done? Are we gonna do a workshop? I thought today was the workshop, so I came with my homework
Oh.
prepared.
Yeah,
Um,
I would say next time then, but
Yeah, my initial thought was to have a more robust discussion today. I think,
okay.
I know, I mean, but in thinking about this approach, I mean, I do think it's helpful for us commissioners to review this information we've been presented, and I don't think going through that all right now today is probably the best call. I do appreciate this form that was given to us. I think this will help each of us sort of jot down our high level thoughts on some of these things. I do think moving forward is extremely important, and I do think maybe a discussion around timeline right now makes the most sense to me. Let's maybe set a timeline to get these things done, so that way it's clear to the commission and to the public and to potential applicants, sort of, what our timeline does look like. So, discussion around that would be good.
What would you guys think about a workshop? In 2 weeks, like at our next meeting, do a workshop to discuss it, see where we are. I
Yeah.
mean, we have a checklist here. We can go through it and make sure that we're all on the same page or roughly close.
I think it would be, in my opinion, it'd be best if we did a workshop before our regular commission meeting. That way, hopefully we can come out of the workshop with something for the commission to approve at the meeting, our next meeting. So maybe we
Okay.
do a workshop the day before or a couple days, maybe Monday that week or Tuesday that week. We can coordinate schedules and try to do a workshop, have this information filled out, that we've all reviewed and pulled from, and that we can have a robust discussion around, all the points of the executive director search. And then, in my mind, it would be nice to hopefully at the next regular port commission meeting, approve a job description and our method for searching for and timeline for searching for the new executive director.
Do you have a preference? I know Monday and Tuesday that week I'm not available, so.
I came prepared for the workshop today, so I don't know, you sent all of this information, so I read it, and prepared it, so, whenever we can get it done, I want it done quickly. Amy's made it clear that she's in this role temporarily, she doesn't want to stay in it forever, but, yeah, I feel like if you two could fill out this worksheet and then get it to board staff, we can maybe see like how close we are in agreement on things. I feel like then we might know how long of a workshop we need to do. But yes, doing a workshop before the next board meeting, but then that might help us with scheduling it. You're a very busy man, but maybe.
I think you're knocking on the door of a serial meeting there. If we're comparing information between commissioners and between an open meeting.
If you provide it to me, I won't discuss it with either one.
Yeah, she wouldn't be
Yeah.
discussing it. So the idea would be, she would compile the information and by her judgment decide, oh, they're gonna need an hour, or they're gonna need 4 hours. I mean, she can kind of judge and see. And she will be the one guiding the workshop.
And once I receive that information, I plan on putting a draft position together for you guys to review,
Okay.
What if we, if you're not available that Monday or Tuesday, so our next regular scheduled meeting is for the 4th. Just thinking functionally, what would make the most sense? I mean, maybe Amy could give us a review of this information, share that with us at the meeting on the 4th, and then maybe we have a workshop and special meeting scheduled for that next week, which would be between our 2 regular port meetings. That way we can have a workshop to review that information and then a special meeting to vote on and approve a job description and search plan. Something like that, maybe sound
So like that, you're talking
the week of the 9th. And we certainly don't have to decide that right this second. Staff can,
But
work on scheduling with us, but, if that framework sounds good.
I appreciate the goal that week sometime, yeah.
Yeah,
Sometime
okay.
within that week.
so like the 11th, you're talking.
Yeah, sometime that week, Amy
Yeah.
can reach out to each of us and coordinate schedules. That sounds good.
Let's work that way, so we can have like another discussion at the meeting on the 4th. Finalize
Mhm.
our,
And Bus workshop
yeah.
and
Okay,
special meeting
sound good,
next week.
live with that. Okay, we'll put that on the agenda for old business for the next. Okay. We do have on the agenda order of business. And I've heard, discussion from the public in the past about the way our agenda's laid out. I would be interested in having a discussion or if people have a question about that. I've done a little bit of research on MRSC and seeing what their guidance is on this, and we're not really very far off of what they suggest. So, and it goes along with the resolution that we passed a couple of years ago. So, is anybody up here?
So this is just discussion on on how our agenda is formatted.
Yeah, just our
Gotcha.
format. Everybody's sort of satisfied. We'll leave it the way it is temporarily.
Add a section after school business called essential updates. Technically, even this conversation we're having now shouldn't be happening because the structure is that you would have a motion at the beginning of new business. And having in that way, you would have to propose a motion. And there's times when proposing a motion just isn't prudent, like last meeting when I had to make a ridiculous or silly, I think was the term, motion to be able to have a discussion. So a section titled essential updates would be a place for support staff. And honestly, the executive director's report would go into that probably as well. But it would be things like this where we're trying to discuss the executive director or potential of a change in the agenda order, that those things would be more of just a conversational style rather than starting with a motion.
Anything else?
Is that
Yeah.
agreeable?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Yeah.
So you wanted to add?
So I make a motion that we add to the regular meeting agenda format after new business, a section titled essential updates.
I wonder if that would be a modification of resolution 2015-04.
It can be. I mean, I will say.
I don't think we need a motion for this item.
I mean, if you wanted to, just to answer, I think what the question is that if you wanted to have your order of business, which is, regular meetings will ordinarily follow the below format, which is how that's described. If you wanted to add something there permanently as an item, then you're correct, you have to amend this resolution. If you wanted to, but I will say in practice, you all have probably had, I think we're pretty listed as like executive director report at the end. You can also just informally, because you're not actually changing this order, you're just saying that you like the standing item that is, because I think to Commissioner McCarthy's point that there are items that are not business or not action items, but there are, executive director updates, commissioner updates that, you don't necessarily have to change this if you just all agree that there's a standing place on the agenda where updates, essential updates or non-action oriented items can fall into place.
If they're temporaries, we have the ability to amend the
You
agenda.
always have the ability to amend.
Oh.
It kind of gives staff instruction that as people are saying, I'd like to address this item, new piece of business or an update, just allows for them mostly to format the agenda and know where to put it. So then you can come in and say, actually, just as you've done today, we want to take some things out of order. Great, no problem.
So are you considering a permanent change? Or could we do it in such a manner what you're asking for.
So within
Okay.
this document, it does say that the commission can make a decision collectively to amend the, collectively amend the agenda structure as needed. That my other talk here. By the way, so no, it wouldn't be to permanently change this, but I think as a vote that we collectively agree that that's the new standard. That not, not ratifying this, but just that we are supposed to unanimously agree that that's happening. This is what this document says. So that's why I proposed it as a motion, so then we can just make that abundantly clear that we all agree to that.
So your motion would be that we can amend the agenda?
No, that's already.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
already allowed.
Okay.
The
I guess I'm
motion
not
would-
hearing correctly.
The motion would be that we would add to our current agenda structure essential updates after new business.
Motion to amend our current meeting structure to add essential updates. Is there a second? All right,
I will second.
there's a second. So is there any discussion on this motion?
I just quickly, so I understand, in doing this, we're not violating anything in that previous resolution.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It sounds like more of an
Yeah.
informal
Yeah.
direction to staff and on the agenda that you just add that. It doesn't change
Yeah.
the order or the topics, but I think it's fine. And that will
Okay.
avoid the need to keep amending
Yeah.
resolutions. So, yeah.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. It's been moved and seconded to add essential updates to the meeting agenda format. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Committee assignments.
Oh, I wasn't done.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just also wanted to address the Article 6, which is the guidelines for public comment.
Which page or
Page 3.
which stuff?
Oh, tab 5.
Right.
So within this resolution is guidelines for public comment at meetings. And these Article 6.
Oh, just a second, because it is page 3 of mine.
It's tab on this one, Peter.
Or tab, that helps. Something else we're gonna work on getting our tabs updated. So, all right, sorry, go ahead.
So Article 6, item B, procedures for general public comment. The commission will allow general public comment on issues related to port business. I bring this up because it's been commented by constituents in the past, and it is very typical of government entities to allow any public comment. And I would be interested in striking that and just allowing public comment, because it has been an issue in the past of define port business. What's port business? What's not? We already have a carve out for entities like the chamber to be able to present like advertising for their events. But I think we keep landing in this gray area periodically of is this port business or not? And again, most government entities just allow public comment.
So, okay. I'm not clear on what you're asking. You want to strike section B?
No, just that public comment can only be related to port business. That public comment is just open. Like what you see at city council. Or the BOCC.
Second that.
So
All right.
right here with this issues related to port
Yeah,
business,
yeah.
just that port business section.
So do we have a motion and a second on that so we can discuss?
Yes, I move that we strike port business from Article 6, Section B, related to guidelines for public comment at meetings.
Do you want to state the original resolution as part of your motion so it's clear?
The original resolution is 2023.01.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second? I will second so we can discuss. I think the way that we have it now, it's just fine. I think that discussion or comment by the chamber, by the Economic Alliance, by any other, I mean, they're here because we're the fourth and they're addressing us. So political, I mean, we already have stuff in there that it's not right to do political commentary. So
Respectfully, in the past, this has been used against citizens to stop their public comment.
When their public
So-
comment was not about court business?
Right. Which then falls to the president of whether or not something is for business or not.
further discussion.
I mean, we could take it out, at the next meeting, somebody might come and talk about fluoride in our water for 3 minutes, and I don't know that that's a efficient use of anybody's time, but, I would be in favor of leaving it the way it is.
I would open this to public comments. I had a couple. Mr. Dow.
I think Brian Dow, Centralia, and I think Ally's touched on what I was referring to earlier, let the public have a little more comment during meetings. And I think that has been a bone of contention with a lot of the public that's been here in the last couple of years. Another one that bothered me has been addressed. Amy looks at and addresses the speaker. And I appreciate that. That wasn't happening in the past. So that's, so I think we should be able to, and the president has they can set it to 1 minute or 2 minutes and keep it brief. But if the public has a comment, once these meetings get going, they're probably gonna shorten up a little bit back maybe, but I don't see any harm in allowing. In fact, I see good in allowing folks to have their say on different issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Donovan.
Jane Benovich, Centralia. I agree with Commissioner Picard that it should be opened up for any business because in the past, the president has decided it was up for interpretation as to whether it was for business or not. And that's one person making that decision. So some people are getting their comments not being allowed to make their comments. And also, so I think that it should be for just whatever comment you want to make is still limited to your time. And also, I feel that the way things have been, the chamber reports on things that are no offense, not court business. And it's done during public comment. But when another constituent wants to make a comment that the president didn't think was court business, they got denied. So in order to make things fair, I think it should be either opened up for all business or make a separate heading or section for non-court business. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Senator Odegaard.
Very Odegaard. My main concern is if we're going to comment, we ask a question if we can get an answer. Because we haven't been for quite a long time. It's nice, it could be just a short answer. I not, sometimes can't even get a yes or no answer. We're not allowed. So that's a concern of mine. Thank you.
Now that you asked for an answer, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I've been reading the MRSC stuff, and there's pretty good documentation on back and forth discussion in meetings. So MRSC is slapping me around and I'm trying to pay attention. So, but we'll see what we can do. So, any further discussion, anybody else? Okay, we have a motion. Let's see. Could you restate your motion, please? I don't have it written down.
A motion to amend resolution 2023-01, Article 6, Section B, to strike core business from the guidelines and procedures for general public comment.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor to strike port business from Article 6, Section B? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay?
Nay. Okay, motion failed.
The final thing I'd like to discuss in this document is on page 4. Article 6, Section C. This is not a change I would like to make. I just want to bring it to the commission's attention that towards the end of that, I'm not going to read the entire paragraph. It's one giant long sentence. As I would, making personal attacks on port employees are official, right? And so then that second to last line, and speaking in a volume louder than low conversational tone when not recognized by the president for public comment. I do feel like that's something that we as a commission should also follow. That we're speaking and, that we're speaking in this space, we're allowing our citizens to speak only if they speak in a volume louder, no louder than a low volume conversational tone, that we would also honor that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anything else?
Nope.
I think now we're on tab 6, committee assignments. Did you guys have a chance to look and see if there's any particular committees that you would volunteer for?
I've enjoyed participating in the .09 committee and would ask to retain my position there if possible.
I'm fine with that.
Did you have any committees that you would?
Yeah, I have a really great working relationship with the Economic Alliance, and I would be happy to take that post. I would also be happy to take the Washington Public Ports Association trustees meeting and or the Southwest Washington Economic Development District SWEDE meeting.
I would also be up for the Washington Public Ports trustee position. I haven't held that for a while, but Picard, if Commissioner Picard would like that, I'm fine with that as well.
I was thinking about the liaison to the mayor's meeting. I've done that off and on, and I could do that again. And I also looked at Southwest Washington Economic Development because that's mostly transportation issues.
Yeah. You'd be good for that.
So we had, okay, Southwest Regional. So we have 2 up for Washington Public Ports Association, both Ally and Kyle.
Oh, I'm
You
happy
guys
to
want to
just be the
flip a
alternate.
coin?
Yeah.
Be the alternate. How about anybody for the Centralia Chalice Chamber?
I'll do that one if nobody else wants it.
Okay. Okay, so we have a full slate. We have Commissioner Picard for the Economic Alliance, Commissioner Markstrom for the Centralia Chalice Chamber, Commissioner Markstrom for the 09 Committee, Washington Public Ports, Commissioner Picard, Southwest Washington Economic Development, Commissioner Lamont, Liaison for Lewis County Mayor's Meeting, Commissioner Lamont. Include that. Grant opportunities, tab 7. I passed this along. This is more informational, but the Southwest Regional Transportation Authority, they passed out a list of potential grants for road projects and infrastructure projects. If I pass that, you guys could look through there and see if there was anything that you thought that we might utilize.
And as the grant writer at the table, if you don't mind, I can just run through them quickly, save everyone time.
Please.
Okay, number A, or letter A, whatever it is, item A, is the National World Freight Program. That project is only for trails, ADA sidewalks, and abandoned rails to trails, so that doesn't fit within our port scope. And the item B, the COG's Transportation Alternatives Call, is not port related in what, as well, it is not port related in what they are offering. The city safety program as well is not, doesn't fit within the port. Item D, it must be designated strategic freight corridor. Also, the deadline is March 6th, and for all of these, I really highlight that the deadline is very short turnaround times. So that's a concern to me. But Peter, with your expertise, I could not for the life of me find that Harrison was a designated strategic freight corridor. And I know it's state highway, but unless you find otherwise, I don't see it as a official designation from being a designated strategic freight corridor. We'll remove that one as well. As far as the other option with that, if it's not a designated freight corridor, there's nothing we can do. Item E does allow for development of master plans, as well as planning, feasibility studies, cost analysis, environmental analysis, and pre-construction elements. So if we did have something that we needed in that vein, it could be viable for us. However, the minimum allocation is $1 million, and we do have a port master plan. I don't know that we need to spend $1 million updating it, though. Truly, the minimum ask is $1 million. So I just don't know of any port projects that would fit that. And also, again, the deadline is very tight, February 24th. So we would have to come up with a project, form a response, and that's a US DOT. And that, I will tell you, is a high lift application. Anything at the federal level. So without already having something in motion that we need to spend $1 million in planning on, I would say that this, while it is the only opportunity in this that I would say we can apply for, I would say it's not worth our port time to do so.
Fair. What I found with these guys, a lot of the grant opportunities, they end up in Cowlitz County and down south, because that's where these guys are centered. So, but the city of Centralia, Lewis County, and last meeting I was there, so they're all there. So they're all looking at this too.
Yes, Lewis is included in all of these. I did check to make sure that our jurisdiction matched.
But the local cities and county is also, they're also involved in this. So if there's something, reason I pass it on, if there's something we can partner with, it's, sometimes we have road projects. And if we can partner with people, they're more inclined to give us some money to help with design and that kind of thing.
Yeah, we can offer, many of these applications do require a letter of support. So if any of those municipalities came to us requesting that, then we could, as a commission, decide to write a letter of support that we would be endorsing this project. But as far as presentations to the port for our own application, I would say that none of these are viable.
Not right now.
Yeah, appreciate that background.
Yeah.
Grants are very complicated. I'm certainly not a grant writer, but have been involved in lots of different grants. And I think, one of the most important steps to successfully obtaining a grant and executing a grant is to have a project ready to go. So I think, that's what we have in front of us, is to identify what our future projects are, and then we can go after those great funding opportunities. But as Commissioner Picard mentioned, grants can be a very heavy lift, especially at the federal level, but even at the state level. And they're not always the magic bullet that people want to think they are. It's not just free money. There's a lot of strings attached and a lot of requirements, and sometimes require full-time staff just to administer those grants. So just something to think about in the future.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, go on. Executive Director.
I just have one thing to report. Commissioner Lamont and I, as he had mentioned, we met with Emil Pearson, Amy Buckler, and Patty Page from the city of Centralia. They were very helpful in providing some clarification on some questions we had regarding our development at Centralia Station, and that's all I have for you.
Okay.
Do you feel like that was a productive meeting, or?
I do.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any remarks on that?
No, it was a good meeting. They were happy that we would talk to them. So that was nice. Anyway, no, nothing at this time. Some in the future, probably. Commissioner report.
I am done.
Anything?
No, got anything to report?
I attended a city council meeting and they swore in 3 new city council members, and that went very well. Still continuing to make connections around the city. It feels like things are settling down a little bit into the new year, which is wonderful. And I look forward to continuing to make progress on the relationship that we have with the city, and kind of moving towards a solution and all of those things. So I appreciate Amy and board staff and legal counsel, as well as you, Peter, in kind of starting that olive branch and working on that. Also, I've been working with Amy on the finances and the different reports, and she's doing an amazing job with our cash flow. And she'll have a presentation for you next meeting about where we are with that.
Yeah, I would like to thank Amy. She's doing a great job trying to get us all up to speed on what's happening. Like I said, you heard before, I've had a meeting with LPC, I've had a meeting with the city and talked with the county. We're trying to mend some fences and try and get Harrison whipped into shape. And trying to figure out how we're gonna do that. It's a technically complicated job, what they have to do to extend that sewer line. But with the agreements that the city and LPC and everybody has, they're extending it in such a way that it's going to be beneficial to us for Gallagher Road. We should, by the time they're done, we should get the utilities extended there and really reduce our costs, make that a good piece of property. So that's it for us. We do have an executive session scheduled, and we expect it to last about 15 minutes. And I'm not sure that we'll have any decisions coming out of that. Also, I wanted to add agenda addition here. Our next meeting dates are February 4th, February 18th, and March 4th. So put those on your calendar. And if I could ask everybody to give us the room, till.
Do we need to state the reason for the executive session?
Okay. Okay, well, we are going to adjourn to executive session for potential litigation pursuant to RCW 42.30.110, subparagraph 1 II. So please give us the room till 4:25. Thank you. Okay, okay, the commission meeting is back in session. And
I would propose a motion that we remove both SEPA appeals against the city of Centralia. I feel that they're unnecessary.
is there a second? Hearing none, motion fails for lack of a second. Is there anything further?
I would like to propose another motion.
Okay,
I propose a motion that Peter be officially the designated commissioner to work on negotiations with the city. You know, previously it was Markstrom, and it was sort of Markstrom / president role. So I'd like a lot of clarification and just that Peter will be the one moving forward with negotiations with the city in regards to the moratorium.
second. Been moved and seconded that I represent with the city on issues towards the moratorium. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries 3. Anything else? Meeting is adjourned. 4:31. Thank you all for coming today.